Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the AAA Hole podcast. I, of course, am your AAA Hole Death Witch, and my co-host aren't here today. So I guess we're doing this one solo. Not a whole lot going on this week in gaming, but I do have a few things that have sparked my attention and have sparked a little debate on the internet. So let's talk about it. Let's see what the AAA gaming industry has been up to, and we'll start by just round of applause, congratulating Electronic Arts, EA, for making the Guinness Book of World Records. A AAA gaming company has made the Guinness Book of World Records. They are in the Guinness Book of World Records for, drumroll, most downvoted Reddit post in history, with over 500,000 downvotes. And this was, of course, in response to their putting loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. So they famously made that post saying that players would feel the sense of accomplishment they get from the privilege of paying EA for the ability to play as Darth Vader, which got them over 500,000 downvotes. So congratulations, Electronic Arts. You've strived for excellence. You want nothing but the best. You want to be the best at being the worst. And you've accomplished that. It's a good job there, buddies. Speaking of EA, that's where we're just gonna segue into our next topic, and the main topic of this week's podcast. You guys know I kind of keep my eye on game streaming, and I don't mean, hey, you guys watch games on Twitch. I mean streaming video games so that you can play them anywhere. Like Google Stadia's service or Nvidia's GeForce Now, and I've been testing Nvidia's GeForce Now for quite a while. If you've watched my stream over the past 2 weeks or so, when I was streaming No Man's Sky, every single stream of me playing No Man's Sky was me playing that game on Nvidia's GeForce Now cloud gaming service. So I did not download that game to my PC. I did not play it on my PC. I played it on another piece of hardware over the internet while streaming it live on Twitch, just to see how many people would notice and to see what the experience was like. And 9 out of 10 people didn't notice. There were a few times, so over the course of the last 2 weeks playing that game, there were a handful of times that I could count on one hand where the connection dropped to the point that it affected gameplay. I mean, sure, the little notification pops up that says latency low, or your speed is slowing down, but I never really noticed the game stutter. It lost some graphical fidelity. I saw a little pixelation in the screen here and there, but for the most part, it was barely noticeable. So I, for one, am unlike everybody else. I am excited for cloud streaming game services, and it looks like that's where the industry's headed. Anyway, so I've gone over the pros and cons a number of times with this, and why I don't think it's as big a deal as people make it out to be. That it's not going to be the death of gaming, but I do think that there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And Google Stadia is kind of on that fence of the right and wrong way. They could go the right way, they could go the wrong way. Nvidia's GeForce Now service, I feel, is closer to doing it the right way, but that's still in beta, so they haven't announced a pricing structure and they haven't officially launched yet, so it could, again, go either way. That being said, we've had a couple surprise announcements here. Apple is launching their own game streaming service, which I guess there really isn't game streaming as much as it is just a subscription-based service, but I bring them into this because I think subscription-based services are getting more popular and should be the future of gaming for many reasons. I think the industry as a whole has just pretty much settled on the fact that in order for a game to be complete and be profitable, it needs to include microtransactions, and you're hard-pressed to find many that don't nowadays. So the gaming community as a whole is pretty tired of spending $60 on a new game only to have that game bombard you with microtransactions. So I think the gaming community, the industry as a whole, is ready for a subscription-based service where you pay a monthly fee to access these games, and then the games have microtransactions you can choose to buy when you find a game you really like. So that way, they don't feel as intrusive. The upfront cost isn't as bad. You're not spending $60 and then having to spend $20 here and $20 there. So Apple's gaming service is called Apple Arcade. It will launch on the 19th for $5 a month, which is it's focused on their mobile platforms. So it's mobile games, it's apps, but for $5 a month, that sounds like the right price. It's something they announced with their new iPhone 11. It's just the new gaming service, which will let subscribers play over 100 games across an iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, or Mac, was previously announced in June. It'll debut with the Apple TV streaming service. As with this new Plus, there's also a 1-month free trial. Players will be able to start on one device and continue playing on another, with Apple also touting that Arcade will let you play games even when you're offline, with progress syncing once you reconnect to the internet. With iOS 13, Apple will support PS4 and Xbox One controllers, so you can play with physical controllers. So going over it, I mean, it's got titles such as Candy Crush, Minecraft, Super Mario Run. So it's, I don't think, I mean, for $5 a month is the right price. I'm trying to understand what their point in it is, as they're, other than being able to play anywhere. They haven't announced the full library of games, but a lot of them seem like games that would just be free anyway. You know, like Candy Crush, or Super Mario Run, or, you know, well, Minecraft's not free, but I mean, a lot of them do seem that way. So we're not gonna really know if it's worth the $5 a month until we get the full list of games. You know, if it's supporting letting you stream some AAA, you know, console quality games on your iPhone 11 or, you know, on your iPad and all of that, then maybe it'll be worth it. I mean, at $5 a month, if you don't have to pay for those games. So I'm not quite sure what they plan to accomplish with theirs. The whole point behind bringing them up, though, is the fact that every company seems to want to be getting a service like this. So that's a good thing. You know, competition's a good thing, and each one of these companies seems to be doing it a bit differently. So they're all kind of testing their waters in this new market to find out which one's going to stick. You know, what's the price plan, the subscription-based model. What's the kind of service gamers want? Theirs does sound dumb though, because most mobile games suck and the best ones, in my opinion, are free. Yeah, I mean, that's Wolf Waffle's right. Most are free, and like I said, I get it if they're going to include games like Minecraft. You know, if they include all the paid games, or maybe if it had some exclusives. You know, Minecraft is obviously a paid mobile game, and then, you know, if you include some of the other more expensive paid games like the Final Fantasies, you know, that Square pays for. But you got other companies testing their streaming service as well. So Apple's trying to find a way to get in on it. I think the main reason behind it would be for getting those games on devices that aren't already capable of doing mobile apps, such as your Mac, your MacBook Pros, or your, you know, then you don't have to download an emulator. You can just stream them. Your Apple TV, things like that. You know, for $5 a month, I think it's the right price. They're not the only ones throwing their ring in the hat, though. So, speaking of Electronic Arts, other than making the Guinness Book of World Records, they've also launched a surprise gaming cloud gaming service, and they launched a test for it, which I will link to in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube. If not, you can just Google for it. I'll also throw it up in the chat for those of you watching live on Twitch. But it's called Project Atlas. They'll be running a 2-week public test for Project Atlas. It begins Monday. That is, begins Monday. So this coming up Monday is when that begins at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern. Players who sign up for the test and are signed up to their retail portal Origin, so you have to have an Origin account, will be offered a chance to play 4 EA games. So it's only 4 games, but they're testing their cloud-based gaming service. So EA will be launching a cloud-based gaming service, and they're doing a public beta test for 2 weeks. So I'll get you guys the links so you can get in on that. The 4 games are FIFA 19, Need for Speed Rivals, Titanfall 2, and Unravel. Odd choice of games for game streaming, but I think what they were going for here is they're trying to hit, you know, different genres of games so that you can see what would work best with your internet connection if you were going to do streaming. So they're trying to hit a wide audience here. Obviously, FIFA is a huge audience for them. Need for Speed Rivals, it's the you know, that's a fast-paced racing game. You got Titanfall 2, which is a competitive shooter. So you've got your shooter games, and then you've got the more casual, slower paced game Unravel. So, you know, a little something for everyone there as far as testing game streaming if you haven't tested your internet connection to see if your connection could handle game streaming and if it's something you'd want to subscribe to. They haven't announced any pricing yet. They have, in a post on Medium today, they said, "We'll be taking an important step in this learning journey as we host an exclusive external trial for our players to experience games streamed through EA's cloud streaming technology." So they're doing this here. Last year, they unveiled Project Atlas, and they're doing the surprise test now. EA has described as an engine plus services platform. So I'm not sure what that means. The new trial is available to users on various platforms, including Mac, smart televisions, tablet, PC, and smartphones. Our goal is to gather more important inputs at scale to test performance and quality of service in a variety of networking conditions and on multiple server routing scenarios. While this particular trial will be focused on cloud gaming on PC, we are also working to understand performance across multiple other devices such as smartphones and smart televisions. Most importantly, we are able to learn how to improve and enhance the cloud gaming service for our players. So I'll get you the link to the sign up page. Again, they didn't announce pricing, but this would be an awesome thing for them to include as part of EA Origin Access. They already have a subscription-based gaming service where you pay one monthly fee and you can play all of EA's games you want to play. You know, that's how we streamed Anthem right here on this channel. Is I did not buy that game for $60. Thank Christ I didn't. It was hot garbage. But I paid EA $15 for 1 month of their Origin Access, and I got access to Anthem, I got access to the Titanfall games, I got access to the Battlefield games, you know, I got access to the Star Wars games, so all those games that I've been interested to try, but not interested enough to actually buy. It's a win-win for them, and adding cloud streaming so that people who don't have a PC and don't have access to that service, or people who, you know, don't have a PC who could run the newest game or whatever game they want to try, and the ability to play the game instantly, to know if you want to buy it or not, even if you're only, you know, going to subscribe to the service for 1 month to try games out before you buy them. That's a good way to do it. You pay the $15, you play all the games you want to play that month and try them before you buy them, and at the end of that month you let the subscription cancel, and then you decide which games in the list were fun enough that you'd want to actually spend money on. And you don't have to wait for downloads. You can just start playing the game immediately. So it's a good way to let people try games out, and it's one of the beauties of one of the best parts of cloud streaming games is the fact that you can try games instantly. There's no waiting, nothing to update. And for those people into the competitive market, it makes online play better, I feel. Yeah, it's the Wild West of gaming again. The Battle Royale of markets. Yeah, so they're all gonna get their feet wet in it. But the best part about these cloud gaming services is I think no one really focuses on the impact that this is gonna have for multiplayer. And I've said it before when we were talking about Stadia, but I've noticed it now that I've gotten into the GeForce Now beta, closed beta, and I've been trying that out. That its implication for multiplayer stands to make the entire multiplayer world better. Assuming that everyone in the match that you're playing is playing on a streaming service. So, for instance, NVIDIA's GeForce Now service. If you could get into a match where everyone playing was playing on the NVIDIA server, then that means that there's no latency as far as the match itself is concerned. Everyone playing is playing in the same building, essentially. You're just streaming the video of that match. So if you lag, it doesn't lag the whole match. It might not even lag your character. If your connection is a little weak during a multiplayer match, it doesn't affect your multiplayer experience. The worst that might happen since you're streaming the video is the video may get a little blurry, as I mentioned before with GeForce Now, but I haven't noticed it actually stop or stutter the game. So every game essentially now has a dedicated server if it's being played on a cloud gaming service, because the gaming computer you're playing it on is in a data center owned by NVIDIA on a gigabit connection, multiple gigabits worth of connection, just an insane connection for everyone to play on, and that's where the match is being hosted. So every game effectively gets a dedicated server to play on. That's, to me, the best part of cloud gaming. And if they can do this right, if they can make this the norm, which I will be trying, we'll be doing streams on this and testing out their cloud gaming service. Of course, Xbox is launching theirs. PlayStation's already tested the waters with theirs, and they're going to be retooling theirs. So this next generation seems to be all about cloud gaming. And I've played No Man's Sky for 2 weeks, streaming it. I played it on stream on my PC while streaming to Twitch, and I had a pretty smooth experience. You guys can go back and watch those videos. I played it on a very old shitty laptop to see how it ran on other hardware, and I gotta say that's an exciting feeling. The fact that NVIDIA's game streaming service effectively turns any computer, any piece of hardware, any PC into a gaming PC. It was pretty good. I did it wirelessly. Of course, I did it at home, but I did it over Wi-Fi. When I'm playing on my desktop computer, streaming to Twitch, that's with a Ethernet. It's best possible connection, and my internet's pretty good. I get 400 down, so I get about half a gig down on average. I get between 400 and 500, and I got 20 meg up. But on that laptop, when I was running the test on it, it is an old i3 dual-core laptop with only 4 gig of RAM. It is not playing any games at all by itself, but I installed a GeForce Now game streaming app, and I was playing No Man's Sky. I was up and running, I plugged a controller in, and it was buttery smooth. I was playing over Wi-Fi, so I got a few more of those, weak connection kind of things, as it's harder to do that over Wi-Fi. But for the sake of testing, I did change some settings on my router for that specific laptop to limit its speed to 30 megabits per second. Now my internet speed at home is for between 400 and 500. I limited that one device to 30 of that and said, don't let this device go any faster than 30. And then I ran NVIDIA's game streaming service on a dual core laptop, with inferior hardware on much slower internet. What they recommend the lowest is, I'll put it at 30. And it was very much playable. I did run into more of those pixelated moments at that speed than I did at other speeds. But as I said, even those moments didn't really lag the gameplay. As far as gameplay was concerned, I could still move around. I could still play. I wasn't, jumping and skipping all over the screen like you get with traditional lag. Just the quality of the video got reduced from 1080p to standard definition. It got blurry. It got pixelated. The image quality definitely suffered. But props for props are due. It didn't too much affect gameplay. I mean, obviously, if you're playing a shooter, it's going to affect your ability to aim just because things are blurry. But it doesn't affect your ability to move around. You don't feel like you shot someone in the head on your screen, but it didn't register because there was lag. So I didn't experience any of that. It's strange, but if it's perfected, it could make things way better for everyone. Oh, yeah, definitely. Why is everyone worried about this? Everyone's worried about this for a number of reasons. I think most of it was... A lot of the hate seems to be focused at Google Stadia. And Google Stadia is kind of an odd duck. I'm dismissing a lot of the hate I see on YouTube as just YouTubers who don't like Google as a company, so they're lashing out at Stadia. Some of the complaints are valid. So they're worried about ownership of games, which that one I'm on the fence about it being valid as an argument. So basically the way Stadia works is there's no fee to use it. You only have to pay a subscription if you want to play your games in 4K. If you're going to play in 1080p, you don't have to pay for anything. But you do have to buy your games. So you still pay the $60 price tag for a game. You still pay whatever that game's price is, and then you just get to play it as much as you want. Now, you don't have to pay a subscription to play it. You just buy it. But people are concerned about buying games on a cloud streaming service because, what if the service shuts down? I never actually own the game. I never have a copy of the game. Well, yes and no. I mean, you can say the same for any digital form of media. I mean, physical media is different. Sure, you hold it in your hand. You can take it with you. They can never take that away from you. But if you're downloading games on Steam, I mean, Steam is too big to fail is the way people see it, so they feel safe buying things on Steam. But way back when Steam first launched, people said the same thing about it. You know, what happens if Steam shuts down? How do I know I'll still have access to these games? All of that stuff. People are scared they're going to lose the things they paid for. It's a legitimate worry with a startup company, but with companies as big as Google, I mean, Steam wasn't as big as it is now when it first started, and it succeeded. Google's already way too big that I don't think that they would just let this fail. Even if they kill Stadia later, I don't see them screwing people over and taking away their games and not giving them access to them. Google just, they stand to lose too much money in that class action lawsuit that would inevitably follow it, if then to just move those games from Stadia over to Google Drive, and everybody who plays on Stadia already has a Google Drive account, because you have to have a Google account to be on Stadia, so it wouldn't be that hard to just move your purchase history to Google Drive and let you download those games. So I don't. Yeah, I'm not saying that they won't kill it. Google's killed projects in the past if it's not profitable and if it's just not going anywhere. But I don't see them screwing people over the way everyone's worried about, where they're going to take your money and not give you the games you paid for. I don't think that's a legitimate worry. The legitimate worry about whether or not the service will fail, sure. But worried about your money going to waste and you not, you buying a game you essentially don't get to keep, I don't see that happening. I really don't. Google's killed a lot of stuff in the past. This is true. But they've never screwed anyone over monetarily when killing something. 90% of the stuff Google's killed, if you go to Google Graveyard and look at it, is just them killing projects, killing tests of things that didn't work out, and they were all free. Google Plus being one of them. Hangouts, they're discontinuing. But this is all stuff people don't pay for. Even when they killed paid stuff like Google Glass, they hadn't taken any money for it yet. That never actually made it to pre-order. Anything people paid money for, they still kept the servers going. I mean, there are businesses today that still use Google Plus for their internal business profiles and internal chat systems that they paid for. And Google kept those servers up and running for business use because they paid for it. Hangouts still has a corporate edition because corporations paid for it. So if they paid, Google does have a track record of, if you paid for something and we were testing it and it didn't work out, then we'll still support you. So they don't just kill it and leave you hanging. They're discontinuing Hangouts. But it's one of those things where a lot of the stuff on Google Graveyard, like Hangouts, when they discontinue it, it's usually just a case of them changing the name or moving those features into something else. Like they did, they had several different apps for food delivery and, like a Uber Eats kind of thing, where you can order food or you can order stuff from Walmart or a store and have somebody deliver it to your house, and a lot of that stuff, and the online shopping things. They had several different apps for that called Google Express and Google Menu and Google something else, and it was all these apps, and they've effectively killed them. And by kill them, I mean they're consolidating them all into one app now called Google Shopping. Just like they killed Android Pay, and people put that on, that's on the Google Graveyard as something that they killed. But if you read the details on it, Android Pay wasn't killed. It was just consolidated into Google Pay or Google Wallet, So a lot of times it's just them moving features around. They're just testing individual features. They find out they like it, or, they could use it somewhere else. And then they just move shit around a lot, is really all it is. So I think that a lot of the stuff on Stadia is overblown. That being said, though, some of the concerns for cloud streaming are legitimate. A lot of people are concerned that if you're paying full price for the game, why not just buy the game then? What do I need the service for? Other than the ability to play it anywhere. Is that alone worth using a streamed version of the game as opposed to buying your own? Most people, when they hear streaming service, they think something like Netflix, where you pay a subscription and you get X number of games. That seems to be more what people want, and I think that's the best way to do it. I think actually a mix of the two would be the best way to do it. So Google Stadia is going to be all bought games right now, with the subscription only being needed to play in 4K. But you don't need the subscription to play the games. So they're going to be all bought games. You buy the game outright. On the other end of that spectrum is PlayStation Now, PlayStation streaming service, where you pay $20 a month and they have over 700 games you can just play. That's popular, but not super popular. I think it's too expensive. I think that's the problem with that one. Is it being $20 a month is a bit much. And then you still have to have a PlayStation Plus subscription if you want to play those streamed games online. So essentially you're paying $30 a month. It's just too much. That's half a game, that you could be putting towards something else. So that costs too much. Right in the middle, though, and I think the sweet spot on the best way to do this is what NVIDIA's doing. And if NVIDIA launches its service this way, and I'm sure there's some legal hangups and things that they'll have to work out if they can make this happen, but the way NVIDIA does it is there is going to be a subscription fee that's going to give you access to games. A selection of games, not every new game. But it also has games you have to buy, so it's doing both. However, the way you buy games is not through NVIDIA, and I think this is the genius of NVIDIA's GeForce Now streaming service, is that right now I can fire up GeForce Now and I can play any game on GeForce Now that I already own on Steam, so I don't have to buy a game a second time. If I already own it on another service. So, for instance, if I own, Gears of War 5, which is now on Steam. If I own that on Steam, I can stream it through GeForce Now, and I don't have to pay anything. I already own the game. It literally links. I log into a remote computer that fires up Steam in big picture mode, and that's how I play the game. I'm still playing it through Steam, but I'm doing it streaming through their hardware. Now, if I own a game like Assassin's Creed on Uplay, same thing. When I sign into, when I click on Assassin's Creed on GeForce Now to play it, it takes me to the Uplay launcher and makes me sign into Uplay. So I'm still playing it through Uplay. Same thing with EA's games. Same thing with Bethesda's games. When I'm playing Fallout 76. Whatever game I'm playing, if I already have it on an account, when I buy it, directly through whatever launcher I buy it on, I just get access to that launcher with NVIDIA streaming service. And then NVIDIA will offer, when this finally comes out of beta, they'll offer their own monthly subscription. Now, they haven't put a price on it yet or said what will be offered, but it will offer a selection of games. I imagine the subscription would be needed to play at all. I'm guessing that the subscription is just how you access the service, and then the games you own, you just get to play. And, you can use the streaming part of it. The monthly fee will give you access to other games as on top of the games you already own. And you're basically paying for the ability to stream the game. And if you already own the game and you don't want to stream it, then just download it and play it through Steam. You already own it, So you're really paying them for the privilege of being able to stream that game on any device. But it's a game you already own. And then as a perk for those people who like game streaming but don't have the hardware to download their own games, they're going to provide you with some games, some free to play, some, they haven't released the whole list yet. Like I said, they haven't worked out the details on how payment will work, but if this is the route they're going to go, where you get a Netflix-like gaming service for $10-15 a month, plus as a bonus, we're going to let you play games you already own somewhere else, then you've got the best of both worlds there. I think that's the way to properly do this. That's the best way to handle this. But you've got EA's test coming up. Again, I'll provide you guys the link for that. It's starting, going over the dates one more time. Starting Monday, 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern. You can sign up for EA's test of Project Atlas, which is their cloud gaming service. And for 2 weeks, you'll be able to play FIFA 19, Need for Speed Rivals, Titanfall 2, and Unravel as part of this free beta test. So EA's launching a game streaming service, Apple's launching a game streaming service, Xbox is launching a game streaming service, PlayStation's launching a game streaming service. Yeah, so everyone's doing it, and the interesting part about it is everyone seems to have a different pricing model. And of all of them that I've seen listed, and this does seem to be the Wild West of gaming for the next generation. It's very obvious that the next generation of gaming will be heavily focused on cloud gaming. That's where they want the future to go. And I see a lot of pluses there for everybody if they can get over the whole not having a physical copy of a game thing. I think once people adapt to this, that it'll be better for the industry as a whole. Because
only it's going to also be interesting to see who actually goes smart with this and says, yeah, not everyone's going to be able to survive this. Those who realize they can't survive, everyone in the market and being themselves ones that can't survive, pulling out early and just going, yeah, we'll put our stuff onto your service
Right.
at a cost.
Well, I think that's kind of what NVIDIA's already doing. And that's why I say that NVIDIA's probably got the best idea for game streaming. Because I've been using GeForce Now to play No Man's Sky. And the way GeForce Now works is when you log into GeForce Now, you link your other accounts. So you link your Steam account, you link your Uplay account, you link your Origin account, your whatever account, you link them. And then any game you already own on Steam or on Uplay or on Origin or Bethesda Game Launcher, or Epic Game Launcher, wherever, any game you already own, you can just access and stream at no additional cost because you already own the game. So when I click on No Man's Sky to play it on GeForce Now, it literally signs me into Steam and I play the game through Steam. I'm still playing it through Steam. So I'm not paying any extra money. Now, they're still in beta. They haven't announced their pricing model yet. But their pricing model seems to be, look, we'll charge you by the month to stream games. And they're going to have a selection of games that come with that subscription. But the main thing you're paying for is just the ability to stream a game you already own. You don't want to stream the game? Then don't get GeForce Now. Play the game on your computer. You want to stream it? Pay us $15 a month. We'll host the game for you and you can play it anywhere. So they kind of do the best of both worlds.
Services that I reckon will actually come out in front, because it's either going to go one of two ways. Either you're going to have the ability to get your library on Steam with every game you want, or and that's how it will succeed, either through Steam, Epic, whatever. All these companies like Activision, like EA, all of those are going to hold their own games hostage to their service, which will be detrimental to everyone, including those services.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're going to see. I mean, Project Atlas, they kind of announced the surprise test for it today. Project Atlas seems to be more what EA's already doing with its Origin access, where it gives you access to basically this is meant for subscribers of Origin, because you have to have an Origin account to use this. So when this service launches, it's going to be just a perk of subscribing to Origin access, is that hey, you can stream these games now. You don't have to, play them on your PC. You can play them anywhere. So that seems to be the idea.
Yeah, this is trying to get everyone back to EA Access, but the problem with EA Access is still there.
Yeah, I agree.
There is a reason why people aren't going to EA Access, and it's not because they have to play the games on their computer.
Well, one of the this seems to be following in the footsteps of TV streaming. So this kind of already happened in the world of TV streaming. Is you had Netflix as the big master, and then came along Hulu, and then came Crunchyroll for anime, and then they started branching out, and like each service started having their own streaming service, and we're still kind of going down that route. Disney Plus is going to make one, and CBS made one, and this app made one, this app made one. And the problem is there's too many streaming services. People aren't going to subscribe to them all. And then came along an app that bundled them together called Verve, VRV, and that bundled a lot of the anime ones, but again, those companies had to sign on to it. So that bundled I think it did have Hulu or Amazon Prime Video. It had some of those, and you pay one monthly fee to that one, and you get
they
access.
all get a cut from that.
Yeah, and they all get a cut from that. So I think that's what you're going to see here. Is you're going to see everybody try to get their feet wet, and everyone's going to do a little different business model, and whichever one comes out on top and works, the ones that fail will say, hey, even though we failed, we'll continue our service as part of your service, and you give us a cut. So then the people who did subscribe to Origin don't lose access to the ability to stream those Origin games. They still get them, only now they are getting them through NVIDIA GeForce Now or through Stadia or whatever.
I'm interested to see if Valve actually throws their hat into this ring.
Yeah, they haven't said
because
anything.
that's going. They haven't said anything, which is suspiciously quiet.
Judging by the way that
So
they've given. Okay, so what happens when you log into GeForce Now? Because you asked me how do you, or it was failing that asked me how do you play a game on GeForce Now? You know, if it signs you into Steam, you know, do you have to download? What if the machine you're playing on doesn't have that game downloaded? Do you have to wait for it to download? And I noticed something interesting because I started testing that after he said it, and I started clicking on games that I figured most people weren't going to be streaming, so maybe the machine I was on didn't have it downloaded. And when I click the download button on Steam to download that game, because I'll log into GeForce Now, I'll log into the machine I'm going to play on, and it tells me it's not downloaded. It literally takes me to Steam store page, and I have to hit the install button. But when I click on the download tab on Steam on the remote machine to see what it's downloading, it's not actually downloading the game. It's downloading something called Steam Redistribute, and it's only a couple megabytes big and takes a second to download, and then it's done, and then it just gives you access to it. So I think what it's doing is this. I think Steam already is doing that, already is streaming those games or partnering with NVIDIA and giving them access to data servers, because basically what it's doing is it's just validating a key and then giving NVIDIA servers access to that game, and then they let you play it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Steam's hat already is in the ring. They're just partnering with NVIDIA.
Secretly behind the curtain.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff on NVIDIA's GeForce Now service is just stuff from your Steam account. I mean, yeah, there's still stuff from other accounts too. Like I can play Fallout 76 through the Bethesda launcher on GeForce Now, and I can play, you know, any of the games I own on Uplay or Origin as well.
But the majority of the Fallout 76, you won't, but you could.
Yeah, I could. I'm not, but I could. You know, I could subscribe to Origin and play Anthem streamed through there if my computer couldn't handle Anthem. So it does. That's why I say that NVIDIA's got the right idea if they just partner with all these other services. And basically the only thing you're paying NVIDIA for is the ability to access the libraries you already own from a machine that couldn't handle the games. So you're just paying for access to stuff you already own from anywhere. I think that's the best way to handle it, because then you still do your shopping for games from whatever store you want to buy them from. So those companies still get their money directly, and NVIDIA makes their money. So let's say I bought, we'll use Anthem as an example because Anthem runs horribly on most machines. So let's say I bought Anthem on my wife's computer and it just kept crashing every 10 minutes, and EA is not going to give me a refund. Well, I paid $60 for it. I want to be able to play it, but her machine can't handle it. So where does that leave me? Well, now I could give $10 to NVIDIA and play that game I've already bought on one of their machines, so I don't have to worry about it crashing anymore. I get access to the thing I paid for, and I'm just paying NVIDIA a fee to host it for me. Yeah, it's more expensive than just buying the game for $60 and playing it on my hardware, but it takes away a lot of the headache, and it gives me the ability to play it on any computer and not just, you know, a super, you know, expensive computer capable of handling that game. So it gives access to a bigger audience.
And you don't have to go through the cost of upgrading your PC every 6 months.
Right.
Actually keep up.
Yeah, it gives access to a bigger audience of people who could afford the game but not afford the hardware to play it. And if NVIDIA puts icing on that cake and offers, you know, free games once a month, or games that it's giving you for free just for being a subscriber. Yeah, you know, the way PlayStation Plus gives away games. Not just that,
but also if they do a package deal. So basically you pay for 11 months and you get the 12th month free.
Yeah, do that. Pay in advance the same way PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus does it, Xbox Live does it. You buy the whole year at once, it's cheaper. You know, and then they give you so many games a month for free. They could still do that. And plus you'll get, and with them partnering with all those other services, then you wouldn't just get the free games that they're willing to install and let you stream, but you also get the free games offered through the other services you're already using. So you get access to your Epic Game Launcher free games every month that they're going to give away.
I don't really know if it's going to be able to survive with the other streaming deals. So like EA Access, whatever Uplay's one is, because that's getting a little bit into a grey area of unaffordability. But if they could do a package deal with those sort of things, then yeah, you possibly might see those sort of things survive.
The affordability thing is a yes and no, because of the fact that you're accessing those other launchers directly through NVIDIA service. Because Google's not doing that. Google Stadia is not going to give you access to Steam. They're not going to give you direct access to their competitors. You have to buy it on their service. Whereas NVIDIA is just giving you basically a PC that you can access that belongs to you. They're basically you're paying for a rental PC that you can access from anywhere. You want to use Steam on that? Fine. You want to use Origin? Fine. So
I guess if you do something like $100,
okay.
For
right.
I reckon if you do $100 for like Google's the NVIDIA system, and then you like do $200 or $100 for EA's or Ubisoft's whatever stream, then that's $200 a year. How much would you actually spend on games a year?
Well, that's where I question the affordability part of it and whether or not it wouldn't be affordable. Because all right, so you look at it this way, you're going to pay $10 a month, and I don't know if that's the price or not. NVIDIA hasn't announced a price, but let's just say for the sake of argument, it's $10 a month. Okay, so you're paying $10 a month to get a virtual computer of your own rented from NVIDIA that you can install whatever you want on. You know, it doesn't have to be bought through an NVIDIA store. You can access stores you already purchased things on. All right, and now we'll use Origin as the other example that has a subscription fee. So your choices are: you've already paid $10 a month. You can then go to Origin.
$120 a year.
Yeah, so $120 a year. So let's just go with the monthly cost. So you've spent $10 a month. You've got 30 days to use this computer. Now you can either spend that 30 days buying games from Origin. Let's say you wanted to play Anthem. You go and you can spend $60 on Anthem, or you could spend $15 more and play Anthem plus a bunch of other games through Origin
that you don't need to download.
That you don't need to download, and you can play them on any computer. So you've essentially spent $45 a month to access EA's entire library on any computer you want to access it on. Or you can spend $70 and get access to one game forever on any computer you want. And then you pay $10 a month more after that, but you only have to spend that $60 once. So the affordability is dependent on how long do you plan to play the game. If it's a game like, if it's an MMO or a game like World of Warcraft or Overwatch that, you know, people are going to be competitive on, and they're going to, you know, a game like Destiny where you're going to be playing it forever, then yeah, you're probably better off to just buy the game. If it's a game, you know, that you're probably going to experience once and then maybe not go back to, then you're probably better off paying the $15 for whatever subscription service that NVIDIA is going to give you access to, like Uplay or Origin or whatever. You're better off to pay their fee on top of your NVIDIA fee, and then enjoy playing that game wherever you want to play it until you're done with it. And then you can cancel that subscription. And I think that's how that would be the best way to handle this, because a lot of the...
Especially for people like you that like experimenting.
Yeah, that likes it. That's the most exciting part for me about cloud gaming services is I don't have to waste a ton of money trying stuff out. And I think a ton of people have that same mindset that, you know, if you could give me, because we used to depend on demos and stuff like that, but they don't really make demos for games anymore. So there's a ton of people like me who are, hey, if you give me a chance to play it, give me a beta test I don't have to pre-order to get access to, or just let me try the game before I buy it. Then you'd have a ton of people trying out a ton of different games that they otherwise wouldn't have taken the chance on. And maybe we can finally start seeing some new games. Because right now, we're in sequel hell. There's like 4 main franchises in the AAA world, and that's all you get every year. You don't really get a whole lot of new experimentation
Call of Duty.
Anymore. Yeah, you get your Call of Duty, you get your Assassin's Creed. I'm not even counting sports games. You get your Call of Duty, you get your Assassin's Creed. You know, you get your Tom Clancy games. And then you get your racing games, you Need for Speed, or whatever, you know. So you got, but every year you're just going to get more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And I think people are tired of that. And if you can charge me $15 a month to play any game I want, and then you throw a game on there that I'm maybe not familiar with, you know, something new like a Death Stranding or Cyberpunk or something that people might be on the fence about, I think more people will try more stuff. You throw some indie games on there too, some indie games get some love. And people may end up buying them if they're like, oh, this is a game that's going to take me forever to beat, and I don't want to be subscribed to EA forever in order to play it. So let me just spend the $30 on this indie game and cancel my subscription to EA until I beat this game. And then when I'm ready to move on, I'll resubscribe. And I think that's the best way to handle it, because a lot of these YouTube videos and people talking about it, they start adding everything together all at one time to kind of get that clickbaity headline and scare everybody to be like, it would cost you $900 a month on Nvidia if you were going to get all of these game streaming services in one place. And yeah, it would be expensive if you subscribed to Uplay and Origin Access and Nvidia's gaming service in order to access them. And, every other streaming service that, Apple's making one, and, all these other companies that are making one, and EA's making one. And, if you subscribe to all of them, yeah, you'd be paying a lot a month, and you'd have more games to play than you could afford to play in that month. The way you should look at it is, okay, I'm paying $10 to Nvidia to access this stuff anywhere, but I get access to the stuff I want. And if I ever want to cancel my Nvidia subscription, it's not like I lose the stuff I already pay for. I still have my Origin Access account I can use on my personal PC. I'm just paying Nvidia for the ability to play that on a PC other than mine. Okay, that's fair. Then you just decide that month which games you're going to play that month. Am I going to play EA's games? I'll subscribe to Origin Access. Am I playing Uplay's games? I'll subscribe to Uplay. Am I whatever service you're going to play. Or if you're going to buy a game, then you cancel all your streaming services for that month. Just pay Nvidia, buy the game you want to play, and spend the next 30, 60 days, however long, playing that game. You basically pay when you're going to use it. If you're really going to be one of those people who try to subscribe to everything, you have the same problem right now with the television streaming market. Is, people, oh, well, I want to cut the cord and not be subscribed to cable television anymore, but in order to get access to everything I get on cable television, I'd have to spend almost as much as cable television. I'd have to get Netflix, I'd have to get Hulu, I'd have to get Amazon Prime Television, I'd have to get this, I'd have to get Disney Plus, I'd have to get that. And when you add them all up, I've spent almost as much as cable. Well, yeah, you would if you need them all. The thing is, are you really going to watch all of them that month? Because that's the beauty of it being a streaming service. With cable, you have to buy them all as a package. It's all or nothing. With the streaming service...
And okay, with things like Disney Plus, Netflix, all those things are short, concise content. Movies, basically. Okay, there's a few long-running series that you mightn't be able to get through in a month.
Yeah, your Handmaid's Tale, your Netflix originals kind of stuff.
But most of what you got on that is short, maybe 2-3 hour things. That's what you're signing up for those.
Yeah, because
for the games industry,
it's the same
that's
thing.
Not it.
Yeah, it's
the things you're doing on the game industry are like those Handmaid's Tales, those
things you're going to play for a while.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 season things that you're going to spend a lot of while on. So you're not going to get basically be able to play everything.
The people who are going to get frustrated, and the challenge it's going to see are those people who have a diverse range of friends. So people who, one day I want to play, for instance, I want to play with you, Ozzy, and you're playing No Man's Sky, or you're playing, you're playing a game on Origin. And then the next day I want to play with Failing, but Failing's playing a game on Uplay. So now if I want to play with Failing, I have to subscribe to 2 services in 1 month to play with 2 different friends. So a lot of that's going to play a factor, but it's the same thing as cable, where people just look at the big picture price. And the thing is, it's not like cable television. Cable television sells you everything as a package. How many times have you heard someone subscribe to cable television who's like, oh, I pay for 500 plus channels and only watch 4 of them. This is bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get that complaint all the time. Well, now you have the option of not paying for things you don't want. And people are complaining that, oh, now it would cost me too much to buy everything. It's like, wait a minute. You were mad because they told you had to buy everything before. Now when we've separated it, you're complaining because it's separate and you want to buy it all together? Well, which is it? Do you want it all together or do you not? Because now you have the option of saying, well, I only have so much time in the day. This month I'm going to focus on catching up on Handmaid's Tale, or I'm going to focus on whatever show I'm going to focus on. So I only need Hulu this month. So you don't subscribe to Disney Plus or Netflix or any of the other services for that month. You subscribe to Hulu, you watch your Handmaid's Tale, you watch all your Hulu shows that month and get caught up on them, and then when you're caught up, you cancel that subscription. Next month you subscribe to a different one. So your monthly bill is still super cheap. You're just rotating out the services you're using by the month.
And then there's also those things where it's like, I've watched everything I want to watch on this, but I'm still having to pay for it because whatever reason the consumer comes up with that they need to keep subscribing.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's people turn on auto pay and they forget about it, or you've got multiple people in the house and, well, I don't use it anymore, but my wife still does. And now I want to watch something on this one, so I need to subscribe to that one. And that's where I think NVIDIA's found the sweet spot, because it does both. So you can rotate out your subscriptions and play EA games one month, and the next month play Uplay games, and the next month play whatever. But if you have those games that, you know, somebody else in the house, or you got a friend that you always want to play with, those games that you want to be permanently part of your collection, well, you have that option too. You just go to Steam and buy it. You just go to EA's Origin and just buy it outright instead of paying a monthly fee to play it. And then you keep it forever.
Keep an eye on those sales.
Yeah, so you can do both. Like, I don't see there being a multitude of options. It's a bad thing. But people seem to want it all. They want that Netflix-like gaming service that gives you access to everything, including new release games from multiple companies on multiple services. But I don't want to pay more than $15 a month for it. And games aren't like movies. That's harder to maintain, especially because games you're meant to play. A game like Destiny or Anthem, you're meant to be playing forever. Like you said, with a movie streaming service, that's consumable content. You're going to consume it, you're going to finish it, and you're going to move on. You don't finish. One does not finish Destiny. One does not finish World of Warcraft. You know, you're meant to. So yes, you do want to buy and own that one forever. But the games you do consume and then you're done with, you know, your God of War, or, you know, your Uncharted, your narrative-driven games that have a story and a single player, and you finish them, and then, you know, maybe even your Gears of War 5, like I'm playing now. Yeah, you know, you play it, you beat it, and then you're done. Well, those are perfect for the subscription-based service. There's live service games you're meant to be playing forever. Well, those are better to pay that upfront fee for, and then just have access to that game forever. So if you ever need to cancel your subscription to the streaming part of it, you still get access to Destiny, or you still get access to Anthem because you bought it, and you can. Well, this month I'm not playing anything but Anthem. You know, last month I had the subscription and I didn't play anything but Anthem. I'm stuck on Anthem right now. I don't feel like playing anything else. I can cancel my subscriptions. And you save money. Just giving you the options to get a game for cheap as part of a subscription service if you just want to try it out, or you just want to play with a friend, or buy it outright if you're a huge fan and want to own it. Giving you the option to do both and be able to play them from any any PC you want, or any platform you want, mobile device, tablet, smart television, whatever, because it's streaming. I don't understand why having so many options is a bad thing. But this podcast is going on about an hour, so we're gonna go ahead and call it there. But yeah, what is everybody's thoughts? How would you want a streaming service done? Send me your email, send me your comments. We'll read them next week. But how would you want it done? Which company do you think is doing it right? If going with my opinion, I think NVIDIA has found a good middle-of-the-road balance between owning the game and renting the game, so to speak, as part of a streaming service. Giving people options, I feel, is the only way one of these services is going to work, is by giving people as many options as possible. You'll have your free-to-play games like Warframe, so there's free options for people who want free, and you need to give them access to that for free. And then you'll have your, hey, this is part of our, you know, Xbox Game Pass kind of service where you pay a monthly fee and we just give you access to all these games. And then you got your games that, hey, this is a new release. It's not part of the streaming service, but if you want to own it, you can buy it. Or maybe it is part of the streaming service and you just want to buy it because you don't want to keep paying a monthly fee for a game you know you're going to want to keep forever. Why pay $15 a month for a game you're going to play for 2 years when you could pay $60 and play it for 2 years and it would only cost you $60? If you pay $15 a month for 2 years, that's way more than $60. So, you know, giving people those options to game the way they want to game and pay the way they want to play. You got to think of these streaming services like Humble Bundle. It's what made Humble Bundle as popular as it is. It's what made it as successful a charity as it is, because they didn't put a price tag on shit. They tiered their bundles, which you could do the same with streaming, and said, hey, pay what you want. This tier you can pay whatever for. This tier is this price to this price, and this tier is this price or more. You tell us. We give you options. Tell us what you want to pay and what you want access to. And they need to be flexible. They need to, with all these different companies and all their different pricing models, with this new era of gaming being ushered in, that's what they're going to have to do. I think the company that's the most flexible will be the one that ends up being the most successful. And it'll be the one that slowly gauges the market and says, okay, this is working. We'll keep this pricing model. This one isn't working, so we'll drop that one and switch to this. They'll be the ones that kind of figure out the pricing model of the industry for us. And in 4 or 5 years, by the end of this next generation, I think streaming will become a norm, and it will have a normal price attached to it and a normal expectation from people. Right now, it's kind of the Wild West. People don't know what to expect. They don't know how it's going to work. But it was the same thing with Netflix. After a while, Netflix kind of set the standard. They said, this is what you should get access to. This is what you should pay a month. And any other service who's not offering you the same thing is inferior. And people accepted that. Hulu tried a different approach. They charged you a monthly fee and ran ads. People hated that. They had to restructure. There was Amazon tried its thing where, okay, we'll give you a selection of stuff for free, but the newer stuff you have to pay for and either rent it for a day or buy it outright for $20. That wasn't so popular. So, we already went through this with the movie world. I think we're going to go through the same thing with the gaming world. I was just letting everybody know about EA's surprise test. So if you do want to test out cloud gaming, there's 2 ways to test it right now. You can do EA's service to see what theirs is all about. I'm going to be trying that one live here on stream just out of curiosity to see how it's going to work. How smooth is it? And to see if they release any stuff or put any notices up there about what kind of games are going to be available on it. Or you could get, you can go to nvidia.com and sign up for the beta test for GeForce Now. They do still give out keys for that. And then that'll give you access to everything on your Steam library, basically anything you can play on your PC at home, you can play anywhere with NVIDIA GeForce Now. That's the service they offer. So try these things out, especially while they're being tested, while they're in their free stage. The other thing I forgot to mention during today's podcast before we end it with the last couple minutes here is Stadia did announce that it's going to do trials. So on top of the fact that the 1080p, so they're really trying to get people in the door to give this thing a shot, and I'm going to. I'm probably one of the few people who's not bashing cloud game streaming. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I like the idea of it. It saves me so much money in hardware costs alone that, yeah, I'm going to fully embrace cloud streaming, whether it be with Google or NVIDIA or whoever. But Google is trying to get as many people as they can in the door by offering free trials. So the 1080p tier is already going to be free. It's already going to have some free-to-play games on it, like Warframe and whatnot, so there's a way you can try it out there. But if you want to try paid games, you want to try playing with your friends, you want to see how well it handles the multiplayer in something like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or, whatever, they are going to offer free trials, of their service, of the pro service, or free trials of individual games. They said they haven't really decided how their trials will work yet, but trials are something they plan to start incorporating into their service in early 2020. So early next year, they're going to do trials. He did hint at maybe it being game specific, kind of like Steam does free weekends for games. Stadia would kind of do the same thing, is what I'm imagining they're going to do. Like, hey, it's free, it's free Anthem week, or it's free Gears of War week, or, well, that's a Microsoft game, but it's free whatever week. For this week, you can play this game for free, even if you don't have a subscription, or even if you don't own the game. Go ahead, try it out. So, and that's a good thing, because Steam does it. It works well for Steam. They do free weekends of games, and Stadia gets the added bonus of you not having to download a game that you're only going to be playing for a day or two. So you don't have to wait to download this game. If you just want to try it out, just click and try it out. It's free right now. Why not? So I think that's a good idea on their part. So I think other cloud streaming services need to do things like that too, because streaming, Netflix did 30-day free trials when it first started. So did Hulu and stuff. Streaming is definitely one of those business models where the first hit's free. Get people hooked. Try before you buy. and then that money will just keep coming in. So I'm more worried about the effect something like this is going to have on microtransactions, though. Which that's just going to be a wait and see thing. We'll have to, these companies are going to test the water, and they're going to see what they can and can't get away with. If you're only paying $15 a month for the game, then we can throw in more microtransactions. They're going to test the waters with this shit. So stay away from the microtransactions. Subscribe to the services. Enjoy playing AAA games on your phone or tablet or TV or wherever you go. Just avoid those microtransactions. Don't feed the beast, and we can set new standards so we can reshape the gaming industry in our image, ladies and gentlemen. This next generation of gaming is going to be an exciting one, and it's going to set some new standards. So don't repeat last generation's mistakes. Let's put our foot down. Let's set some standards. Now, for now, though, I thank everyone for listening. This has been this week's episode of the AAA Hole podcast. We just hit the hour mark, so I'm going to call it right there. So this one went longer than I thought it would, but yeah, a lot of cloud gaming news this week. So for those of you interested in it or excited for it, which one are you excited the most about? Which, let me know in the comments if you're on YouTube, or an email if you're listening through the downloaded version, or right here in chat if you're on Twitch. Just let me know which game streaming service has caught your eye. What would they have to do to get your foot in the door? Is it the free trials? Is it a subscription-based thing? Is it the being able to pay and own my games forever and play them anywhere? Or is it a mix of all three? What camp are you in? Or are you just completely against cloud gaming and you think that this is bad for the consumer, and you want the ability to own your games, and you're PC enthusiast, you like having your own hardware? Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you're excited about for this next generation of gaming. For now, though, I'm wrapping up this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Next week, same time, same channel. Thank you for taking me in your ear hole, and I'll see you witches next week. AAA Hole out.
See you guys.